So I'm going on a big trip. Literally tomorrow. I leave tomorrow. Oh my gosh, I've never gone on a big international trip before, so I'm really excited. But of course, being the gamer that I am, I want to take my Nintendo Switch along. And I've traveled with other game consoles before, the Switch included, along with DS's, even a GameCube. So I think I have a lot of pretty good insight on this topic. So I kind of figured, maybe I'll make a video talking about my experiences getting ready to travel with my Switch, traveling with my Switch, and share some tips and tricks with all of you on the subject, and also do kind of like a cute little pack along with me kind of deal. And so that is the topic of today. Hi everybody, my name is Alex, aka Quality, and welcome back to the channel. I will say, having to kneel down to look at the camera is really weird. I don't have my phone set up on my tripod like I normally do because my room is just way too messy trying to get ready for this trip, so I don't want you to see my floor. So I have you propped on the window and I'm just staring, and it hurts my back. We're gonna move over to my desk in a second and kind of give you an overhead view of what I'm packing, and I'm gonna explain kind of what I'm doing as we go along and giving tips. But before we get into that, I do kind of want to give a little bit of a shout out to Lakeavi. She made a video kind of like this about a year ago, and I thought it was just really nice, and it kind of inspired me to do my own. So here we are. But yeah, kind of how this is gonna go is we're gonna move over to the desk. I'm gonna pack my Switch, talk about why I'm doing what I'm doing, as well as other thoughts I have about traveling with the system. And then midway through to the end, I'm gonna throw some travel footage. I'm not a vlogger. I don't plan on vlogging the trip while I'm gone at all. I might do a few YouTube shorts. I don't know. Again, I haven't left. So whatever content I make between today and when I get back, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I'm not a vlogger, but I do kind of want to give a few little oh, this is what I saw, this is what I did, little things, and also kind of show progress and how the Switch is doing on the trip, and kind of my closing thoughts on some of the new things I might have tried this time around, or ending tips and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a video that's going to take place over the course of 2.5 weeks, so stay tuned. So let's move over to my desk and let's start packing. Okay, so first thing first, when you're traveling with your Nintendo Switch, obviously you want it to be protected, which means putting it in a nice sturdy case, as well as maybe adding a few extra protection features as well. So I'm coming with this nice Tomtoc case. I actually unboxed one of the same cases, just in a different color. I did the blue one. This is the matcha green. I decided I wanted the matcha green one just so it matched a little bit more with my aesthetic. So my boyfriend is taking the blue one, so we're gonna have matching Tomtoc cases, which is super exciting. I love this case. It's really sturdy, and again, which also, I have a cute little charm on it too because I wanted to dress it up a little bit. My friend got me that from Japan. But yeah, so in here, it's a really nice case, really deep for your Switch to fit in, but it's also a slim case. So if you're putting this in a bag, like a carry-on or anything like that, it's really nice to get in there. There are some games in here already that I might be taking out. And yeah, it's this case just really conforms really nicely to your Switch. Which, speaking of which, how do we pack our Switch, right? Where do we put it? Obviously, you want it in a case. If you're looking for something with a little bit more room, there's some really good cases that are a little bit bigger, so you're able to put a lot more stuff in them. But for me, ultimately, you want a case that is going to, one, protect your Switch, but also fit into a carry-on or personal item bag. And I truly recommend, for any kind of electronic, put it in your personal bag or carry-on. really, because if you're trying to put something like this in a checked bag, you never know what could happen. You could lose your luggage, it could get smashed, you never know. So it's just much safer to have it on your person. I also recommend too that if you're gonna get a Switch case, try to make it relatively unassuming. You don't really want something that's advertising hey, I have a Switch here, come take my Nintendo Switch, right? You want something just nice, unassuming. See, the other thing about this, it's slim and yeah, you can tell it's a Switch, but it's not super out there, right? You don't really want to be flaunting it around that you have a Switch. So I really like this case. It's classy, it's slim, and it fits really nice. So I'm also taking my Switch like this. So this has a Play Vital soft shell case on it that we put on. Actually, in another video as well. Man, this is just a culmination of all of my past accessories and some Totoro thumb grips just for a little bit of personality. And I'm putting this on mainly because of the grips in the back. So for me, I have mentioned this before, I have wrist issues, so it's really important to me to have some good support. And I kind of figured that I'm gonna try traveling with this case and see how it goes. I've never done that before. I've never traveled with like a soft shell or hard shell case on my Switch. So I'm gonna see how it goes, see if I like it. The great thing is, even with this case on, it still fits really nice and slim in the Tomtoc. And you just zip it up and voila. Still nice and thin. Really, really nice. So that's my plan for this. I think having both of those is really gonna protect my system really super duper well. So that's what I'm planning. But the one negative side is if you get a slim case like this, where are you gonna put your charging cords? Because obviously you're going to wanna make sure that you have all of your charging cords for your Switch and your other things. So what I'm doing is I'm actually getting a whole bag for all my electronic cords. Again, I'm a big organizational person and I really thought that this was kind of a cool thing to do. I've never thought about doing this before. I usually just put them in a specific pocket in a backpack or something like that, which is another thing you can do. But I kind of decided, like, you know, I'm bringing so much. I'm going on an international trip. I want to make sure I have what I need. So I decided to get this little pouch. It's actually a pencil pouch, but it's cute. I didn't expect it to have like an inspirational quote on it. I didn't want that. I thought that was like the brand label, but I don't get it. It's unassuming enough that it's fine. It's fine. But of course, had to go with a matching green. And the nice thing about this, you know, it has a zippered pocket for anything like that. Spot for pencils, of course, little pouch. And then this also is like a little compression pouch. So you can open it one way, so it opens nice and big, so you can fit a bunch of other stuff in it. And then once you zip it, then it actually will compress a little bit. So this is perfect because, as I said, I'm going on an international trip, which means I need an adapter for all of my plugs. This is something that if you're going international, make sure you check. The nice thing is this also has USBs, and a lot of places now are just kind of utilizing USBs and everything that they do, but you still don't want to be caught surprised when you're like, oh shoot, my Switch is dead, but I can't charge it. So make sure that if you're traveling internationally, check what plugs you need and maybe get an adapter. So the nice thing is this will just go nice right in there. And it kind of does hit just the tip of it, but I think it'll be safe. And I'm not gonna pack this all the way just because I do have a few other things that I need to charge beforehand. But other big recommendation is for charging your Switch, rather than bringing your big brick charger, I would bring, which it's all kind of in a mess right now, your Pro Controller charger. Yeah, this is kind of a big mess right now, but bring your Pro Controller charger, because the nice thing is the adapter is, you know, same as it is for the Switch, and you don't have to worry about bringing that huge bulky brick around. Just bring like a normal brick. I think I'm just bringing a normal iPhone brick, given that I have an iPad and my iPhone that I'm bringing as well, and I can use that for this as well. So that'll be stuck in here in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, you just want to make sure that like you have all the cables you need. A lot of people are really fond of bringing power banks as well, which I think is a great thing, especially if you're on a long flight. While most planes, I think, have USBs and outlets, you always want to be safe, especially if you're on a longer flight. So invest in a power bank. I am not bringing one only because I don't think I'm going to be in a situation where I'm really going to need it all that often. So that's why I'm not having one, but I really recommend it as an extra thing if that's something you're worried about. So power bank, cords, extra little outlet things that you might need, all really, really, really important. So another question that some people might be having is, should I bring a dock? Which I actually have my dock right here. And I think it really depends on the type of vacation that you're doing, because if you're doing a vacation where you're going to be with friends and family a lot of the time and you're not really anticipating going out, then it might be a nice thing to bring a dock with you so you can all play together, right? But if you're really planning on going out there and being away from wherever your lodging is, then I don't really think it's necessary. I'm personally not bringing a dock. I think it's just a little bit too much for this trip, given that I'm going to be doing a lot of walking around outside, and I probably will only really be playing my Switch on the plane or at the end of the day when I'm trying to wind down. So I'm not bringing my dock. There are cases that you can buy though that fit your dock. In fact, the case that I had in my Nintendo Switch collection video, that one's a great one. It's big, spacious, and there are a few others that are a little bit more tight-knit too, to really keep all of your bigger accessories like your dock or your Pro Controller under wrap. I'm also not bringing my Pro Controller only because I'm trying to travel light and I don't really foresee myself needing a Pro Controller given that I'm not bringing a dock. And while my travel companions are bringing their Switch, we all have our own individual Joy-Cons. So if we're gonna play any multiplayer games, that's what we're planning on doing, is just using our Joy-Cons and kind of operating like that. Okay, so let's talk about games for a second, because obviously you'll want to have games with you, right? So what kind of games should you bring and how many games should you bring? I think that kind of goes back to the dock conversation too of, do you really foresee yourself playing a ton of video games while you're there? For me, I personally take trips as an opportunity to spend a little bit of time on my backlog and playing games that I haven't played before, as well as bringing some multiplayer games just in case the possibility arises. So my biggest recommendation is, if you have a case like this that has a built-in game card section, I would not bring more than the case has. Only because, and a lot of it is really situational, a lot of it depends on how long you're gonna be gone for and how much gaming you plan to do. But I think that, especially in a case like this where you have slots for 10 games is more than enough. I'm not even bringing that many. But if you're kind of a little wary of storing your games in your Switch case, then getting an external game card case like this one here, this Game Boy one that I also reviewed on the channel, I love. This is just a big promo for all of the accessories I've reviewed on the channel. I love this case. It's really, really nice. It snaps shut. If you do the external route though, I would put it with your cords, because you don't want to just kind of loose falling around in your bag where you might accidentally misplace it or anything like that. Also make sure it's sturdy. Like, the nice thing about this, it snaps. It snaps closed, the plastic is hard, it's really good. So look for a game card case like this if you're thinking about carrying your games externally or bringing more than a case like this allows. But for me, I'm just working based off of what we have in here, because I have a few long flights and many train rides, but I don't envision myself needing to jump around from too many games. So let me show you what I'm planning on bringing as of right now. This might not be the final lineup, we'll see how the rest of the night goes, but we'll see. So first and foremost, which is probably the game that I'm going to play the most, is Octopath Traveler 2. I've been playing this, I absolutely adore it, I love it a lot, and I can't wait to play more of it. I'm about halfway through, and I don't think I'd be able to finish it while on the trip, but maybe, who knows? So when the first Octopath game came out, that was actually my second plane ride. So I played the first Octopath on a plane going to Florida, and now I'm playing the second one going to where I'm going now, which I just think that's kind of really cute. So I'm definitely bringing that game. And so as I said, definitely want to bring some multiplayer games. So the classic Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I just streamed the other night, that's coming along with me too. That's just an easy one where it's like, all right, I'm sitting with my friends, just gotta hop on for a quick game of Mario Kart, and who knows, maybe other people on the plane also have their Switch and also have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This game is so popular that I feel like this is a good unifier between yourself and any random nice strangers you might meet. But also, again, it's just a good multiplayer game to have. So this one I'm more on the fence with, but Mario Party Superstars, another good multiplayer game, a good fun classic that's just good for pick up and play time. So this one I'm thinking about, but I'm not positive if I'm in the Mario Party mood or if I will be in the Mario Party mood, but we'll see. And so this is kind of a strange one, but I've been thinking about this game again, so I feel like I should bring it. It's Animal Crossing New Horizons. Again, an easy game just to kind of do something on the plane. I'm sure it can find some activity. I have a few more Happy Home Paradise things that I can do. And I don't know, I really enjoy the cozy vibes of Animal Crossing. And I think it'd be nice for the plane. And so the next two are two games that I haven't even opened. They're still in their original wrap, but I think these are two games that I really, really want to bring with me, just even to have and maybe try out. So the first one is AI Somnium Files, which is a game that I've been wanting to play for so long at this point in time. It's a visual novel. It's very dark, detective-like, and I love it. I'm so excited. So I think having a game like this that's very different from Octopath, which is, you know, a turn-based RPG, and just having more of a story kind of puzzle game would be a really, really cool one for the plane and for all my other traveling. So if I can, I'd really like to give this one a shot on my trip. And then finally, Harvestella is the other one, a game I got for Christmas and still haven't opened. Same kind of vibe for Animal Crossing. Like, I've heard really good things about Harvestella, and I think it's gonna be really, really, really cozy. So that's kind of why I want to bring it. It's just to have a nice farm RPG kind of deal. And yeah, I really, really want to give it a shot. I really like to use traveling as an excuse to kind of go out of my norm and play a game that I wouldn't otherwise play. Sometimes I do that with nostalgic titles too. Like when I used to travel a lot with my 3DS, I would bring a lot of games just even for this nostalgia, or bring some DS games with me too. But I think these are the 6 that I'm bringing with me. I don't know if I'm gonna go more or less than 6, but you'll all have to wait until the end to see what I pick. So yeah, these are a few travel tips and tricks, as well as kind of showing you what I'm planning on bringing with me. I have a 8-hour flight followed by an hour-long layover and then another 2-hour-long flight between tomorrow and Thursday. So I'm hoping to get in quite a little bit of gaming on that initial flight, but we will see. But all right, so I'm gonna finish packing all of my things, because I certainly haven't done that, and I will see you in Europe. Why, hello there, everyone. I have returned to the United States, and it is bittersweet. I loved being in Europe. It was great. I had a really wonderful time. I saw so many things in all the different countries I went to, and I loved it, but I am really, really glad to be back home and with my cat and in a world of comfort and familiar spaces. But all in all, it was a fantastic experience. For those curious about the more specific places I went to, we did Italy, we did Venice, Pompeii, Sorrento, Naples. We also did Paris. We went to France. We didn't really go anywhere outside of Paris, but it was big, so there was a lot to see there. And then I also hit the UK, and we went to Edinburgh as well as London, and that's kind of where we ended the trip. So it was a really, really big trip, lots of places, so many things to see, and it was just absolutely incredible. For anybody curious, my favorite part was absolutely Scotland. I would move there. It's so pretty, it's so pretty. But enough about that. I'm sure you're all wondering about the games. I actually wanted to film this part of the video while I was still abroad because I thought that'd be kind of cool, but unfortunately my Airbnb situations did not allow for that, so we're recording it at home. I actually haven't even unpacked anything because I wanted to film this as soon as possible while things were still packed up, so I can kind of show you like how everything traveled with me, as well as kind of give some recap tips and thoughts that I had about traveling with my Switch such a great distance. So that's what we're gonna do. Also, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. It's really hot. The sun is like beating down on my face. I came home and it was 83 degrees. So I'm sweating a little bit, so I'm sorry. So I also didn't really rewatch the part of the video I filmed before I left. I skimmed through it to make sure it was watchable, but I don't remember exactly what tips I said. I think I remember a few of them, but if some of the points are redundant, just take that as me reaffirming that I think they're important. So let me show you what ended up being in my little electronics bag. So this was carrying all of my essential electronics for the trip, things that I would need to charge my Switch, to use my Switch while traveling, stuff like that. I showed off this bag. This was a fantastic purchase. This is gonna be my forever electronic bag. It's great, it's so spacious. I really liked it. Really easy to carry around, but I'm gonna very carefully open this make sure nothing falls out. So this is, okay, phone charger's going crazy, but that's fine. So this is kind of what we were working with. I had all of my like plugs and stuff on the bottom, as well as my wireless headphones. My plug-in headphones are below my phone charger. And then on that flap, we've got more chargers. We have my Switch charger, which is the Pro Controller charger. I did not bring the big brick with me, as I said, because it's way easier to carry this around. See how easily it like stays in that pocket. But yes, I have my Switch charger, wireless headphone charger, all of that, an extra phone charger just in case. But this was great. It was really nice to just have all of my electronic things just in one place. So that way, especially because like for me, we moved a lot between different locations. So it was just nice to have everything here. I knew exactly what I had in this bag. So if I was missing something, I knew where to look for it, stuff like that. I really recommend getting a bag like this for your extra electronics, not just things for Switch, but like, as I said, your headphone charger, your phone charger. If you have like a smartwatch or something like that, that charger, it was so helpful. So that was that bag. Great, like $12 purchase. I don't remember how much it was. It might have been less than that, but. And of course, the thing housing my Switch, my TomTok case. This case was the best. It was the best. It was so nice. You really want to make sure that all of your electronics are easily removable from your carry-on bag if you have them in there, because you have to take them out when you're going through TSA. And just having my Switch and all my games just in one really slim, compact case that I knew was gonna be safe no matter what was just, it was really reassuring. Same kind of deal with the electronics bag, and also my iPad was also in a matching matcha green case. And it was really just reassuring, and it was easy. What I did was I kept all of my electronics and my bagged liquids. I only had like hand sanitizer and stuff like that. Put that all in one pocket of my backpack, so all I had to do was scoop it up and put it in the bin, and it made life way easier. So I think that's one big overall travel tip whenever you're traveling with your Switch or any other electronic, is keep all of your electronics in the same place and well marked so you know that they're yours. Like, I did the matcha green matching thing because one, it was cute, but it also, I knew exactly what I needed to grab. It was easy to spot in my bag, so I knew I wasn't gonna forget anything. And it was just easy to make sure, like, okay, there's my stuff, let me grab that. So it was nice, and I didn't have to scramble around to be like, okay, I need my game card case, I need this cord, I need this cord, I need this cord, I need my Switch, I need my iPad. Like, it was just all ready to go. So it was really convenient, really big recommend. So now what you're all probably wondering is, if I did so much, how much Switch did I actually play? And the answer is not much, but more than I actually thought I did. So, and I think I mentioned this in the first part of the video too, is sometimes when you're going on a trip like this, you want to have your games at your disposal, but you might not actually use them. And that kind of happened with me a lot. I knew going into it that my Switch was mainly going to be used while we were traveling in between places. I had a lot of different plane rides, a lot of different train rides, a boat ride at one point in time, except I was too amazed by everything on our way to Venice to really bring out my Switch. But I knew I was mostly going to use it traveling in between places rather than, okay, I'm sitting in Paris looking at the Eiffel Tower, let me just bring out my Switch. So, but I think that really comes down to personal preference of how much you actually want to integrate your gaming into your vacation. For me, I wanted a nice easy mix of, yes, I'm gonna game when I have time and make progress in my games, but also I want to, be there and experiencing it. So now what I will say though is I only played one game the whole time that I was gone. I'm not gonna say what one yet, we'll get to the games in a second, but I'd be interested if any of you would be able to guess. So put your guesses in the comments now. But also just to kind of re-go over what I brought with me in my Switch case aside from the TomTok itself. So reviewing the inside, there's my Switch. There's my flap of games. It's great, and I have to give mega props to this Play Vital case for my Switch. I know I was not the biggest fan when I opened this case in my Switch accessories video. It was really hard to get on, and between all of the accessories I got that video, this one was at the time my least favorite, but this has honestly become one of my favorite Switch cases strictly because of the grips on the back of the case. This was the best and most comfortable time I had playing Switch traveling ever, because I had that extra support of the wrists without bringing like a full-on Switch grip. Because it was already built in to the case, which still fit in my TomTalk, it was like perfect scenario. Never once did my wrists hurt, which is pretty incredible. Because usually when you're sitting on an airplane and you're playing Switch for a really long time, your wrists are bound to hurt. Like, we had a 7-hour, almost 8-hour flight. It was like 7 hours and 45 minutes coming back from the UK. And I spent about 4 of those hours gaming. If my Switch was just bare, then I would not have been as comfortable, and I wouldn't probably have been able to play for that long. So this case saved my butt. I really, really have turned around on this case. Yes, it is still a little hard to get off, but I'm very happy with this. Very, very happy with this case. So thanks, Play Vital. And of course the Totoro thumb grips made it the whole time. But anyways, so I believe that with all of the games that I had initially mentioned, I'm pretty sure I brought all of those. I don't think I strayed away from that. Just going through them real fast. Hopefully you can see it. Mario Kart 8. And I'll go through them and tell you if I didn't play. Mario Kart 8, didn't play. Animal Crossing New Horizons, didn't play. Super Mario Party, didn't play. Pokemon Violet, didn't play. A new one, which I really wanted to play. This probably would have been the one that I would have played if I played another game. Harvestella. But no, I didn't play it. AI Somnium Files. Again, did not play it. And the only game that I played the whole time, I don't even have in the case because it's in my Switch, is Octopath Traveler 2. That's the whole thing. That's all I played the whole time. Partly because, you know, I love that game. I want to finish it. I'm getting closer and closer to the end. I really think I could finish it by the end of this week. We'll see. We'll see how much time, as I reacclimate myself to life and work, how much time I'll really have. But I think I might be able to finish it this week. I got through a few chapters, as well as did some grinding and just did a few extra things. So it was really nice. It was just kind of the game that I felt the most drawn to play the whole time. And I think it partly helps because I started it before I left and was right in the middle of all the exciting stuff. So I didn't really want to stop playing it. But it just, whenever we were traveling, it just kind of felt like the right thing. Like, okay, I'm just gonna do a story in Octopath, I'm just gonna grind, I'm just gonna like do just a little thing for however long. And it didn't feel like there was any pressure. Even though I have regrets, honestly, bringing that many games, I feel like maybe if I only brought Harvestella with me, I probably would have given it a shot. But because I brought so many games with me, I felt more inclined to just stick with the one that I was already playing. The mix of games I brought was good. I think I had a good mix between multiplayer and single player experiences. I think it was just too much. I think it was just too much, especially after a new game had just come out. So, you know, other things to consider is what games you actually have time for and what games you want to play. Like, I think traveling is a great time to try to like test out some games in your backlog. And now that I'm saying it again, I think maybe I mentioned in the first part, I don't remember. I'll know when I'm editing, but I think it's a great time to try out games in your backlog. But I do think it's hard when you're already kind of committed to one game, like, oh, maybe I should just bring this one game and then whatever I have downloaded on my system or anything like that. But I guess I don't really regret bringing the games, but I think deep down in my heart, I should have known that I was only going to play Octopath. All right, I think just to wrap it up, let me just go through some of my tips that are coming off the top of my head at this moment in time in terms of traveling with your Switch. 1, make sure your Switch is super protected with a nice case, so that way it's just, you know, if something happens to your backpack, you drop it or you drop the case, then your Switch is still protected, stuff like that. Again, highly recommend the TomTalk fancy case. It's great. I really like it. They came out with new colors, I'm pretty sure too, so more options, but I really love this case. Never once did I feel like my Switch was in peril, which was even more reaffirmed by the Play Vital case, which, while I don't think is nearly as much of a necessity, it does help. It does really, really help. And again, it just gives you a peace of mind. So making sure your Switch and your games are well protected, and going with that and going back to the TSA comment earlier, making sure that your Switch is accessible and easy to take out of your bag for TSA reasons, but also for your own reasons. If you're sitting on a plane or a train, you don't want to have to get up to grab your Switch or, you know, like dig through anything. Like making sure that you put it in an easy place to get to. Other tip, only bring the games that you think you're gonna play. Which I think of all things, that's one of the biggest things that I've seen other people struggle with, is like just wanting to bring all of these games and every game they've ever had and then just not playing with it. Because on one side, you risk losing those games if something happens, but also you might feel a little guilty for not playing them. So that's another thing. Only really bring the games that you think you're going to play and have the time to play, which also kind of goes on with, you know, gauge how much time you're going to have on this vacation to game. Is it worth bringing your console? Typically, I'm always going to say yes, because you never know what downtime you might have, but other people, it might not be worth the risk, you know? So really evaluate how important it is for you to game on this trip. And maybe also you just want to relax. Maybe you just need time away from video games, and that's okay too. There should never be a pressure to be like, oh, well, I have this time. I need to start working on my backlog, and I need to start playing these games because this game just came out, which, again, I get the backlog thing. I think I'm gonna do like an updated backlog kind of video, like tips, further tips, more tips on the backlog, but also talking about my backlog process and how it's going, because it's not going as I expected, but I have thoughts on that, but you'll see that in the future. Now that I'm home, I have way too many video ideas. And also kind of going back to the game thing too, which, again, make sure you figure out how many games that you really feel like you want to play, but also don't be afraid to throw in some variety in there too. Like, yeah, bring a game that you wouldn't think about playing. That was kind of Animal Crossing for me, which even though I didn't play it, I would not have usually brought Animal Crossing with me, but it felt right in the moment. So think about that too, like add some variety. Now's your time to experiment, especially if you're somebody who like needs to switch through games constantly. Like my partner, he beat like multiple games on this trip. He played a lot more when we were in the locations though too, but he beat a lot of games and I was kind of envious. But he also had a Steam Deck and his Mii U Mini, so he had games on him all the time, but still, like, you know, don't be afraid to add variety. He went through things like Hades, Pizza Tower, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Sky. Like it was a lot. So throw in some variety, throw in some nostalgia titles, like make it fun for yourself, but temper your expectations of how much time that you're actually going to have to game or how much time you want to invest gaming on your trip. And I think those are kind of the biggest tips. I'll be interested to see if anybody else has any tips, explanations. And again, I might have said more in the first part of the video. I can't remember, but you know. So if I said other smart things, take that with you and remember that. But yeah, it feels really, really good to be back. I have a lot, literally, if I have more time today after I edit this video and get it ready to put out, I might end up doing the Fire Emblem review today too. I'm definitely gonna film it at least by tomorrow, but so expect that soon. It's all written, it's ready to go, and I'm ready to film it. So really excited. But yeah, I have a lot of video ideas. I'm really excited to get back into content making. I feel like that vacation was really refreshing and exactly what I needed. So now I'm really ready to get back to teaching and making content and streaming and just doing all the things that I do in my everyday life. So I'm excited, so stay tuned for all of those videos. But yeah, I know this is kind of a silly one, probably really redundant. Maybe it's a there's no real conclusion kind of video, but I had a lot of fun doing it and I hope you enjoyed it as well and found some of the information really useful. But as I said, leave some of your travel tips down below. And also, if you're new here and you like what you see, maybe consider subscribing. We're really, really close to 3,000 subscribers as of like this video being made, so that's really exciting. I'm gonna have to come up with like a 3,000 subscriber special, so maybe stay tuned on a community post about that, who knows. But yeah, anyways everybody, it's great to be back and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!